You know, there's something interesting about how life works. From the moment we wake up, every hour becomes a quiet vote for who we're becoming. And that idea of choice led me to reflect on something we rarely think deeply about: the illusion of having options. Because sometimes the more options we have, the more lost we become. And lately, I've been learning that busyness and genuine progress are not the same thing. This is your weekly reset. Let's talk about the illusion of options. When I think about the concept of having a choice, I think about the very first moment you open your eyes when you wake up. A lot of us have a habit of looking over your bedstand or whatever you put your phone might be next to you on your bed. And the first choice we have is to pick up our cell phone devices and we get active. Open up social media, whichever one is your favorite, because you got a bunch of options. And the first thing you do is radiate your energy from a restful state to overstimulation in an instant. Sometimes this exposure is just detrimental to our progress and growth. This concept of having options can sometimes feel empowering, but I've come to see it differently. I think having too many options can create scattered energy. It can bring confusion. And I feel this way every single time after scrolling through my phone for about an hour or two. I haven't moved from my bed. And if I had plans to wake up at, let's say, 7:30 a.m., then it's 9:30 and I feel like, oh, damn, I haven't really done anything but just be on my phone. So from the get go, my energy for the day is just scattered. And then now I'm playing catch up from 9:30 because I've lost 2 hours that I could have been productive on or attack the goals and to do list tasks that I had set out to do. What I realized is I don't necessarily want to feel that way, especially when every day is so important in the journey of becoming a better version of yourself. That puts you in a place where you don't necessarily have direction to where your life is going. And having too many options has essentially slowed me down. My productivity levels in those 2 hours is non existent because I'm just doom scrolling. This led me to start thinking about how being busy does not really equal to being effective. I think there's moments where you can be active, but you're not necessarily seeing progress. And I'll give you a couple of examples that I've seen. When I was in university, I would always have a timeline or a chunk of time that I said I wanted to study. As I got closer to that time, I started feeling like maybe right now is the perfect time for me to do laundry. Or maybe right now is the perfect time for me to do the dishes. They've been sitting there for a while. So let me actually feel busy and be act like I'm being productive. But this is just an illusion of productivity because at the end of the day, I'm not really being effective with actually putting the time that I need to do for my studies. So when I realized that, I started understanding that, sometimes being busy is actually just emotional avoidance. Like we're really not trying to face the hard tasks, the things that we actually set to do, and all this other quote unquote BS that we put our time to is just to distract ourselves. Having that option of cleaning the dishes or doing the laundry is becoming a distraction disguised as effort. So I often found that I'm avoiding commitment by by staying busy. And am I choosing really meaningful tasks or am I just choosing the comfortable ones? Because washing dishes does not necessarily require a mental capacity that will challenge me or challenge my brain. Like I'm not washing dishes thinking like, okay, if I wash this dish and dissect it at a 45 degrees angle, then it's going to be cleaner than if I do it at a 30-degree angle. Not, no, bro. I'm just standing there washing dishes, bumping my music and doing whatever I got to do. So you got to start questioning yourself. Like, are you choosing meaningful tasks or are you just choosing comfortable ones? And essentially you'll come to understand and see your pattern that these are some of the things that are stopping you from doing the goals and the hard tasks that you set off for yourself, right? A good analogy that I use to further this way of thinking is sleep. Now, I love sleeping. Like, there is nothing I love in this world than to go to bed and fall asleep. Get some rest in, wake up rejuvenated. 7, 8 hours minimum, if I can, is non negotiable. Not all the time, but most of the time. But the good thing about sleep is sleep gives you one option, and the option is to rest. You don't have anything else to do unless you sleep in a different type of time. But I feel like when I go to sleep, the only option I have is to rest. And during sleep time, you don't necessarily have the option to multitask because the only thing that you do is get into a state that allows your body to rest so that you can rejuvenate your energy for the next day. This had me thinking because, like, your body acts like a system. And when that entire system is aligned towards one goal, two things happen. When you have quality sleep and restful sleep, half the time you wake up feeling rejuvenated and ready to go. If you don't have quality sleep, if you have patterns that, you wake up during the night or you can't necessarily sleep because of consumption of sugar, coffee, alcohol, whatever it is that will interfere with your sleep, then you wake up feeling a little bit jaded. And then now that has a trickle effect because you have to start taking energy drinks, caffeine, and the cycle begins because now you're not using nature's power, which is to rejuvenate yourself in a natural way. It had me thinking, what if in life we really put our energy and focus towards one goal and just give it our best shot? Doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have other interests or side quests that you can put your mind and body into. I just think from a production standpoint, what if we actually followed through with one consistent action towards the goal that really matters to us? And that really had me thinking because I believe true efficiency comes from a singular direction. Once you say, you visualize, this is what I want, this is how it looks like, and this is how I'm going to get it done, it becomes easier to remove the distractions that might come in between you and that goal that you set out for yourself. So for me, I want to ask you, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to focus on one thing, right? What does rest look like outside of sleep? And what are some of the things that I can do for myself to be able to gather my energy into one direction rather than have options that take my energy away and then in turn limit how I can show up for myself? I think for me, direction beats speed. It's important to do things when you get the need to do them, but I think consistency compounds more than intensity. So the more you put yourself in situations that you're doing little by little becomes a lot, you have a goal and you're committed to that goal, and choosing an aligned goal with clarity typically creates momentum. So it's very important to have alignment because that's what keeps you going when the excitement fades away. And clarity is the decision making of, I don't care what I have to do, I'm going to get this done. So as we near 2026, I urge you to see it as the year of focus and not the year of overextension, because I think it's so important to put your energy in one direction that has alignment and clarity. Because if you did that, I truly believe there's a lot of things that can change in your life if you committed into them fully, not half-heartedly. That you either do or you don't. There's no in between, because the in between lies confusion, and confusion is not good for your soul. So here's your weekly reset reflection. What are three areas in your life where I'm confusing being busy with being productive? And how can you redirect that energy this week? Because I believe focus isn't about doing more. It's about finally choosing what deserves your energy. If this reflection resonated with you, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and share this with someone who might need it today. And if you want deeper written reflections every Monday, join the weekly reset using the link below. I hope we can all read, reflect, and rise.